CSGO would be much better off if it stole these 10 features from other games. My name is Braden, and welcome to Valve Guides. We all love CSGO in one way or another, but with a recent surge in honestly really good online games, more and more of us are finding ourselves slowly fading into other games for the sake of their newer and fresher feel. So naturally, I thought I would take this video to talk about some features that if CSGO adopted from other games, it could really benefit from. I don't want people to get the wrong idea. I'm not saying that CSGO is trash right now. It isn't at its peak as far as player levels, but it's definitely had some good changes recently. And these changes won't bring it back to its peak, so to say, alone. But with these 10 changes, I think that a lot of the community will agree it would be a quite nice addition to the game. No delaying, no sponsor today, let's get into it. Number 10, highlights and demo mode. If you've been around a minute, one of the most consistent tips I give to new players is to watch, review, and compare your demos to higher level players to develop your game knowledge very quickly. A lot of you guys use this and have told me how much it's helped. Unfortunately, for a lot of the new players, they never even tried it because it's honestly difficult to jump into demos, especially because CSGO is now free to play. That is a surefire way to lose a decent amount of players due to the plain confusion on how to use something so deeply ingrained and important in CSGO. Highlights are not easy to share, and if you're not using services like plays.tv to constantly record what you're doing, you may have done something incredible with no way of sharing it.
Play of the game.
Something Overwatch does really well is making it incredibly easy to share your highlights. This drives incentive to play the game and community content on platforms like Reddit and YouTube. Number 9, user-friendly custom game and server browsing. I really think that implementing custom games and servers and client better than the current server browser and maybe pulling ideas from Overwatch's custom game browser would be a great addition. The custom game community is far from dead, and source-based games are always going to be some of the best and easily customizable experiences.
It's full of poisonous gas.
But for whatever reason, these custom modes don't feel like they get the backing support that they should. They are a huge portion of the CSGO community, and few people outside of the immediate player base even know it exists, much less the capabilities that it has. This is yet another case of unfriendly UI scaring new players away, and there's no excuses when it's a free-to-play game. There's aspects and big portions of the game that are never discovered by new players because they're hard to find, honestly. How can you overhaul the entire menu UI with Panorama but leave the community server browser straight out of 2001? But get this, guys, it's gray, not green, so it looks really modern. Obviously, I'm kidding, but it just doesn't add up. Number 8, consistent short and long-term community events. This idea builds off of the custom game modes being pushed more first-party by Valve, incentivizing exploration and trying new modes and maps. If CSGO isn't going to receive consistent updates like it used to, rotating these events and game modes could be easier. It's less involved, and it's a great way to keep the community engaged and entertained. Valve just needs to make sure that nothing is wildly game-breaking or offensive, but then sit back and create a space where creators can create more than just cosmetic skins, but in this case, game modes and events. That way, community leaders get better recognition and new players can more easily find their way to fun new modes, keeping them engrossed in the game. Number 7, casual mode overhaul. This idea builds off the ideas of the community events before. I'm on a roll. This separation between first-party and community-made servers is dramatic, not only in gameplay, but in discovery in general. Imagine you're a new player trying out CSGO for the first time and you load up the game. You're not ready for competitive yet. You probably know this. If you don't, you'll play a game and then realize that you're not ready for it. So you want to try something easier and fun to get yourself acquainted with the mechanics. You have the choice between the 90s community server browser or the neat, well-presented first-party game modes. You're going to try the first-party game modes, and let's be real, nobody takes the first-party game mode seriously. Imagine if Valve combined the casual and community tabs, allowing for those vanilla deathmatches or arm races experience if you so desire, but using this tab to push community content, allowing user-friendly filters to let players easily browse the community and Valve-driven content. Now, I know these past 3 have sounded pretty similar as far as the actual content. I think that really does highlight the importance of these custom game modes that just aren't being utilized. It's like an untapped gold mine. so I wanted to emphasize that a lot more, but I promise the rest of the points for the rest of the video are not going to be quite as similar. Number 6, better customization like Battlefield. Take them all out! Let's go ahead and get past the controversy of Battlefield 5, that's fine. The customization in Battlefield 5, however, is dope. We all know that CSGO has skins and gloves, but CSGO has never had really first-party character customization like Battlefield. In this case, I would hope that there's no real-life money attached to the cosmetics, but I would be a fool to assume that this wouldn't be the case. In an ideal world, I think this could be tied to a new progression or challenge system to keep the game fresh and actually showcase player achievements rather than their luck of opening a case or their income or gambling ability, but some actual cosmetics that will reflect things that you have done and look cool depending on how much time you put into the game and challenges you've completed. Because right now all you have to show for that are like coins that you can display on your profile, but that's not as daunting as some epic player customization. You want to be able to intimidate the enemy. At the same time, I realize that's probably going to have problems with hitboxes and crap. But like I said, an ideal world. Number 5, better pings like Apex Legends.
This is my favorite part. Exciting!
If you've played Apex Legends for even a couple minutes on PC or console, you have probably experienced the perfection that is the ping system. It's probably not perfect, and somebody out there is writing something very mean to me right now. But if you don't know what I mean, I'm not talking about anything relating to the internet ping. I mean the ability to make detailed callouts and point out ammo and guns and stuff on the floor without a mic. CSGO's callout system is functional, but after playing Apex literally once, I realized that I hate the CSGO callout system now. Not because it's trash, but it's just not, I mean, in comparison, it's not great. That's that. It's a powerful tool and it's really simple. Number 4, community updates like League of Legends. Riot Games do nearly weekly content video updates on patches they create, and not only to address what they added to the game, but also to give roadmaps and reply to suggestions for broader changes. You're never left guessing or feeling confused over what they're trying to change. And because of the video format, it makes the information a lot more digestible and you get a better feeling of what the developers are trying to accomplish with the game. Regardless of whether or not you like the changes, because the communities are always going to be split no matter what changes proposed, at the very least you're in the loop and don't have to wait for community opinions to form your hive mind for quite as long. Valve has not uploaded any video with substance for over 2 years, which is frankly unacceptable when companies with similar fan bases are doing videos on a near weekly basis. Even if it was once a month or once every month and a half, that would be an incredible step up from where we are now. Number 3, comprehensive stat tracking and career profiles, also like League of Legends. In League, they don't merely throw your KD, assist, or MVP stats anymore, but they also show you things like how gold rates swung after a team fight, your success percentages based on the areas and the maps, and how you statistically impacted every kill. They also have better API support to allow websites to utilize the in-depth information and create helpful online tools to help you get better at the game at a more efficient level. I don't really think I need to go on and explain how this would be incredibly helpful and streamline the learning experience as a competitive player in CSGO. It would be a priceless tool for those that utilize it and save hours upon hours and hours of figuring out positioning stuff while watching demos when you can read the information as you're watching a demo and know where everything is. Oh, it sounds so nice. Number 2, more updates like Fortnite and Overwatch. Whether you're a fan of Fortnite and Overwatch, they've set a new standard when it comes to games as a service as a business model. They have shown that a consistent regular update schedule is pretty much the only way to maintain a game right now. With a game like CSGO, it's a lot harder to add things like weapons because of how it affects the balance of the game, but they could still add things like more game modes like we've discussed above, more skins, cosmetic items, and rewards on a more frequent basis, and even other changes like the stat tracking that we've mentioned above. A good update should not feel like a surprise surprise anymore. It should be the standard. CSGO does not live up to that standard right now. Even when we get an update, which is a surprise, we know essentially what it's going to be. And that's not okay. Number 1, a more competitive and fun ranked mode like StarCraft. A lot of games struggle with this. And while I don't think the CSGO ranking system is bad by any means, I think we can safely say it doesn't accurately display a person's level of skill at higher ranks like games such as StarCraft or League of Legends do. The best players in the game shouldn't have to use third-party clients like Faceit and ESEA to find a good match, because if you're going to use regular matchmaking, you're not going to. Period. While I do think it's great that Valve allows these third-party services to exist, they should take those services being so prominent in the community as a sign that changes in the vanilla game need to happen. That does it for today, guys. Thank you so much for sticking around, not just until the end of this video, but in general. I know some of you have been on this journey with me for nearly 5 years. I talked about that at the end of the last video, which was about a month ago. It's unreal that you guys are still here, and I appreciate every last one of you, new or old. If you're here, just know that. Thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video.